away, guys, my popcorn. Welcome back to another installment of the Unwatched Pile, the show where us Blu-ray film physical media collectors dust off that pile. Get the dust buster or the dirt. Remember the Dirt Devils?
Yeah,
Dirt
I do remember
Devils.
the Dust Buster and Dirt Devils.
Yeah, and you just the one that you hold just by the hand. You just suck the dust off the top of that big pile of Blu-rays that you haven't watched yet, because you just get caught up in collecting, and you're like, I'm gonna watch that one day. And this is the day, guys. This is the day that you watch blank ... whatever it is. Today, we got 3 new ones here. Of course, me and Andrew here got a couple new ones, and we got our returning guest, Dustin Putman, here to talk about his film, first time watch. How you doing, Dustin, man?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, is that why you asked me to guest today? Because my name's Dustin, so I was dusting off the...
You're always perfect for this show. Yes. I almost call you Dusty. Just call you Dusty, coming on here to dust off the... Does anybody call you Dusty in your life?
Only my grandma called me Dusty.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
That does seem like a grandma nickname, doesn't it?
Come here, Dusty. Give me a hug.
Nobody else is allowed.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But thanks again, Dustin, for joining us. Dustin's always a great guest. He's always got a lot of knowledge. He's for anybody this is their first time, tell them a little bit about yourself, just to update somebody that hasn't watched this yet. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, sure. I've been a film critic for over 20 years. I have a website, thefilmfile.com, and I've author of a book, The Fright File, which is sort of a compendium of 150 essays on different horror films. So.
Awesome. When's the next book? Are you still working on another one?
Yes, I'm always
do it, man.
Dude,
please want to see some work out there. I'm in the middle of reading friend of the show Aaron West's new book that just came out, the A24 New Wave. So I'm hoping to get through that soon. Just going through kind of the history, the rise of that production company, A24 or A24 as some people call it. I say A24. I don't know what. When we talked to Aaron about that, he's like, "You say A24?" I'm like, "Yeah, I thought it was A24." It's like, what does it fucking matter? It's the same numbers, Well,
I guess maybe perhaps there's a special meaning behind the 24.
There
is. Yeah.
Like thinking about movies 24 hours a day.
No, it has to do with the street. It's like a street number.
It's more specific than that.
Read the book.
Okay? Yeah, that's a good preview.
It gets into it.
That's so funny. I've never thought about what it actually means. So
yeah, so, you think, sometimes these companies you're like, oh, well, I get that. I can see where that's coming from. But like A24, it's not one that pops out, but it does have meaning behind it.
Yeah, there are certain like special meanings behind the names of certain studios, Universal, the idea of the whole world, a Paramount, the peak of a mountain. I mean, like they're more specific.
Pretty descriptive, yeah.
Warner Brothers, it was started by brothers whose last name was Warner. I mean, it's a little
super
interesting.
On the nose. Super interesting. Very vain of them. But before we get into the normal programming, we got some comments. Tony Meachus isn't here. Good morning, Good morning. What? No, I'm just kidding. He's in the future.
Australia.
He's in the future. We know this. Got some hearts that have are we gonna be hurt today?
No, they look kidding. Like
I think they might be like medical hearts.
Yeah, like the Red Cross type of hearts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Are we giving blood? I don't know. And then the normal JB44 is pushing.
Here.
He's pushing it.
The Chasers. Yeah, I've been trying to keep it going. He was here on Tuesday on the recent episode of Chasing Labels with Rachel Belwar, where we went for a damn nearly 5 hours of Chasing Labels this past
week. I saw. Yeah, I was like, damn it. Almost broke the record.
Yeah, I know.
It was like 4 minutes short.
Yeah, I guess it's
because I looked at the one episode you did with I should remember Paul. It was Paul. Yeah. It was like 4 hours and 54 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Rachel came just under that.
It was like 4 hours and 50. Like, it was.
Yeah. You don't realize it in the moment, but you just start talking and just start talking about random things and movies, and you just
pass out and die in the middle.
But we'll do another episode on July 13th for Chasing Labels, a little preview of things to come. But that's not why we're here. We're here for the Unwatched Pile.
They're obviously this is under the Chasing Labels umbrella, but I like to call us the pilers. We're the
Nice.
pilers. We're the pilers on here.
Pile it on, basically. Especially this time of year right now, there are summer sales happening left and right.
Oh, yeah.
Just to tempt us all and to drain all of our available funds that we
Partial
could use for
medical
other
theme
more
tonight.
responsible things.
It's a partial medical theme tonight, apparently. I get what you're saying. Doc
Very
Hollywood.
true.
Yeah.
With my pick, at least.
And Dustin's
and Dustin's as well.
Yeah, mine not as much, but
No. No, yours is more political.
Unless you want to say like somebody getting assassinated and then needing medical help,
I guess.
Maybe I don't stretch, but yeah. So once again, thanks everybody for listening, watching. You can go to Chasing Labels, subscribe. And you can also find us on audio platforms. And please, hey, leave a rating for us. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to see some ratings. If we suck, tell us. I don't care. I just want to see some people know that people are watching. Yeah, let's get into it. As always, our guest starts us off, and he has a interesting one as his first time watch.
Yeah. So I chose a recent film that Vinegar Syndrome has put out, called Intensive Care. I think we were talking about this before we went live, but I believe this might be the first official U.S. physical media release of the film, at least definitely since DVD, but I don't even think it came out on DVD. I really don't. But yeah, so I guess this might be the only way to really watch it right now. But it's from 1991. Directed by Dornet X van Roeveroy, and it's a Dutch slasher film. And even though it's 35 years old, it remains the first and to date only slasher, Dutch slasher that was directed by a woman. So that's
cool,
and that seems shocking, but that's what I heard. I mean, she even said it so herself on the interview. So. On the disc.
Nothing shocking to me when it comes to the female presence in film directing. Like it's shockingly low.
Yeah, or lack thereof, especially 35 years ago. Heck, it's even difficult now for those things to happen. Yeah. But continue, Dustin.
So neither of you got a chance to watch this because it was so hard to find, right?
I really wish I could have. It looked interesting.
There are actually two versions of that movie. There's an English dub version, and then there's a Dutch language version. And apparently they're different in terms of like the dialogue is different. Of course, change the dialogue, you can change the movie. I didn't know that. I was just doing some little bit of behind the scenes research on it.
It's interesting. Yeah, they only have the English dub version. You would think that they would have had both, but maybe they only could get the rights to one of them. But they do mention in the special features that, they, like you said, a lot of the dialogue was different. They basically filmed every scene twice, and sort of marketing it more towards the U.S. for the dubbed version. One example that they showed, and they did have clips of it, was there's one scene where like two teenage characters are smoking, and that was for the Dutch version, but in the US version they weren't smoking.
Okay,
I guess can't
you like to smoke here?
Yeah, can't poison the minds of young kids in 1991.
You could go all day with like the censorship and like the reasoning, like
different markets and how you like. You have to cater towards different markets or different audiences in different countries. I mean, we've seen that a lot with like modern movies. If they get like big time funding from a specific country, they'll put in something specific to that country. I think one of the Transformers movies, they did that.
Oh yeah.
There was one of those where they shot like in China. So they had to put a scene in there that dealt with like the Chinese government dealing with like giant robots and stuff or something like that. It was wild, but sometimes those things happen. But I've heard, and they like changed the tone of the movie, I think, for the U.S. audience for this movie as well. Apparently it was not a big hit when it came out, from what I understand. But yeah, I don't want to take the spotlight from Dustin. But
Yeah, I
just
know,
go,
right?
just go over the general premise of the movie because it's kind of wild.
Okay, so yeah, this is, and the reason why I chose it after I saw it, because I watched it last week and I was like, all right, I do want to talk about this movie because it is insane. It's certifiably insane. So it is it also is a holiday slasher. It's set over New Year's Eve.
Hell yeah.
And it stars George Kennedy. He was the big U.S. name that they had for it. And again, in the interview with the director on the disc, she was talking about how he agreed to do the film as long as he and his wife were given first class plane tickets to the Netherlands and basically paid for their whole overseas trip while they were filming it. It was like, my wife has to come with me or I'm not doing the movie, so you have to pay for it.
That sounds like something an older person would say.
Yeah, because at that time, George Kennedy was like an older actor at that time. This isn't like prime George Kennedy from like the 60s and stuff like that.
Yeah, this was like, it came out the same year, at least in the Netherlands. It came out in the same year as Naked Gun 2.5. So that's sort of it in sort of, the timeline of his career. But yeah, he was doing just anything he was offered, I would assume he was doing back then, because he did a lot of stuff, different things. But anyway, so he was the big name actor in it, from the US. And then there are two teenage actors who were in it. They were in their younger 20s, but I just looked this up because they also were talking about how they were huge stars overseas. Nobody in the US would have known them, but Cone Wouters, he was a frontman and lead singer of a rock band called Clouseau at the time. And and it became, over the next 20 years, it became the most popular band in Flanders. And then after that, he became a professional race car driver.
So the band about the French director, it's just all about the French director.
Yeah.
Because
and then the other actor was Nada Van Nee, and she also was a big television star at the time. Apparently, she was on some TV series that was really popular back then. So anyway, the movie is it's set in Florida, but it's one of those movies where you clearly can tell it wasn't filmed in Florida. And so George Kennedy plays this doctor who, in the opening scene, right from the beginning, he's performing surgery, and his assistant dares to correct him on what he's doing, and he throws a fit, and he's like, "If you have a problem, why don't you do it yourself?" And he starts stabbing the patient with the scalpel.
Yeah, that's the first scene of the movie. Yes. He's just stabbing like an organ of some kind and just being pissed off. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he like has the person open on the operating table there, put to sleep, and he's just like stabbing them.
So wait, is this supposed to be like taken seriously? Like, is this a serious movie or is this supposed to be funny?
I think it was supposed to be serious.
Okay.
It's played seriously.
So that's what makes it funny. I got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You'll be finding out that both of these movies, that's the charm, that this one and the pairing that I've got coming up, they're both like that. They're both
unintentionally.
They're both supposed to be serious, taken serious, but they are just so wacky that you just have a great time with them because they're so unintentionally funny. So anyway, George Kennedy, he's this sort of mad doctor. Right after that, he like storms out of the operating room. He is in a car. Right after that, he's driving home. He's in a fiery car crash. He runs into a truck, and that's the end of George Kennedy's role. He's in it for about 5 minutes.
Damn.
Even though he's top billed.
They Drew Barrymore'd us.
But his character becomes the actual villain of the film. He's in a coma in the hospital, and at this point, 7 years later, he's still in a coma, and he's played by a stunt person at this point with a latex burn mask. And I'm not an expert on severe burns, but my assumption is after 7 years, the skin doesn't remain black and charred. But in the movie, it is.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, you could tell that it's not really George Kennedy. But yeah, so he basically on New Year's Eve he wakes up finally and goes on a killing spree. And he follows. At this point, it becomes one of the most blatant Halloween ripoffs I think I've ever seen. So he basically follows one of the teen, early 20s, this guy who works at the hospital. He leaves, goes home, and he basically like rides with him in the car in the back seat, and ends up in this neighborhood. And it's sort of from there, it's set between two houses next to each other on this suburban neighborhood street. And he's like, standing back, watching, waiting to make his attack. And it's so much like Halloween. Like
I was gonna say, it's two houses in Halloween. It's yeah. I mean, they watched the movie.
I mean, at one point one of the characters is walking between houses, and she's got on, I swear she's got on the same basic outfit that Annie, the character Annie, has on when she's going over to Laurie's house, and she has on sort of like this like cover sort of poncho thing. And the killer's watching her, and it's exactly the same. But anyway, so it's set between these two houses. It's this teenage girl, Amy, watching her kid brother on New Year's Eve, and her boyfriend lives next door. It's one WTF moment after the next from there. I mean, the script, I don't know how do I put this? The script is written like someone who's, well, you can tell their first language is clearly not English, and they're failing miserably to write what they think American dialogue and vernacular is like, even though it's clearly not. Like the kid brother, says at one point, "Oh, it would be keen to do this," or something. Like, I'm sorry,
keen.
It's not the 1950s. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. There's one scene where two lovers sort of like get into a fight, like they're kissing, and the next second he's like throwing like lamps across the room at her, and it's smashing. And then another character is like literally ripping her blouse off and assaulting her, and she just sort of goes with it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's wild. They take time out for like the characters play instruments together, and I'm just like, where is this coming from?
I mean, I'm trying to understand why the movie's called Intensive Care.
Well, I mean, yeah,
he worked in an intensive care area
it starts out. Yeah, he's a surgeon, and yeah, the opening like 20 minutes or so is set at the hospital, and there's some hospital kills before he leaves and stuff like that. But the majority of it. But anyway,
I think that if because this came out before the show, they should have called this Burn Notice.
See, that would have been to say some positive things about it. It is wildly entertaining. I'll give it that. It's atmospherically shot.
Yeah.
The nighttime lighting is beautiful. It's sort of like bathed in blue. There's lots of like woods and stuff that it's very well shot. It's just wacky from one end to the next. And maybe the best part, and I have to say, it doesn't really give anything away, but the climax cuts between two characters who are battling the killer in the forest, and our heroine is at home performing phone repairs because the killer like had cut the phone line, and she's trying to like get it back together. Meanwhile, like they're battling the killer. I'm like, why are we watching her repair this phone?
That never happens, by the way. It's like every movie where the killer cuts the phone line, nobody's like, let me go out there and see if I can repair it. Yeah. And then that's not part of the plot. Like that never happens.
How does one repair a phone line? Even in general, you have to, if a phone line gets cut, you can splice it together. I guess that could work.
That's
But
what
most
she's
of the times, you got to replace.
I don't
the
know.
phone
But these
wire.
killers have every one of these killers have a great knowledge of where the phone line is.
Yeah, no,
They
also,
all know.
Also, when people like cut the power to people's houses and stuff like that, they must really know, like
Well, I mean,
electrician work.
if you get in the house, it's one thing. I know where the fuse box is, but like,
Yeah, but
if
not
you're
every fuse
outside
box
the
is in the
house-
same place. Some are in the garage, some are in the basement, some are in
Sure.
an attic, some are outside, some are inside. It's a whole. Are they looking at blueprints to these people's houses?
Yeah, do they
It
get the
seems like a lot of
schematics?
work.
Do they
Just to
always
rob somebody's house of some stuff seems too much work. or to do other things of nefarious favors, like the
It's-
coma killer in this movie.
It's just part of their skill set. It's just
I guess so. They're smart.
But
Smarter than me.
intensive care sounds, you know, like I like movies like this every once in a while if it hits the right spots for me. Like, and it sounds like this is a fun one. So I'll have to send it to me. Can I rent it from you?
I would say, yeah, because there's a fine line between, like, some movies are so bad they're just bad and they're miserable.
Sure.
But then there is a certain type of film that goes over to this new realm where it's so entertainingly bad or just off the wall and over the top that it becomes charming, and that's where this one lies. And so if you like that type of film, then I would recommend this, since it's so hard to find otherwise.
I like the movie Masturbating Gunman. Okay, so if you can like Masturbating Gunman, I think it sounds like I can like this movie.
Oh, I think you would.
Yeah.
But
But
it
awesome.
It's a fun time.
Good. Well, we'll come back. I got to know what this pairing is. Maybe I've seen this pairing, or maybe I haven't. But we'll get back around to it. Before we get to Andrew, we got a few comments more here. Josephine popped in and said, let's see, I'm way up here. Saying hello to us. We got some first time watches. Extreme Prejudice. That's that. Was it Walter Hill? Dr. X. We got Sugarland Express. Of course, that's the theatrical debut of Spielberg. Next of Kin. Family Viewing. 13 Steps of Mackie. And then we have the Shaolin Soccer. Exotica, and Never Take Candy from a Stranger, which is one we've lauded on here a lot as a great Hammer classic.
That is
not
a
a horror
Hammer
movie.
film.
Lots of Adam McGowan.
Yeah, a lot of Adam McGowan. I know that Josie's been watching recently. Exotica was one that was put up by Criterion recently. I've got it somewhere around here. And it's
That's a great film.
what a movie. Just what a movie. I was looking to see if I have it. It must be in another pile. But yeah, I love Elias Koteas in that movie. He's a DJ at this adult club. It's an adult entertainment club, and he's just going off on these like philosophical monologues while all these patrons are there and the women are dancing. He's like in his own world of just like monologuing about like Paradise Lost and just random things. It's so interesting. Check out Exotica if you haven't already. But yeah, she mentioned some of those back on Chasing Labels. We have some other stuff. She did go to the Barnes & Noble sale yesterday. What a way to express your freedom than buying movies.
We'll buy them and I will be free.
Yeah. She said she picked up Altered States, which is a good one to pick up if you're going to the sale this time around.
I love that you just had it within reach.
He always does.
I did.
It doesn't make the show seem like it's pre-planned with the comments or anything.
It's not at all. It really isn't. I just happen to have these things around.
Well, speaking of Andrew being up next, Acre of Movies says, love Doc Hollywood. Thanks from Stacy. Who would be cast in the remake? Maybe we'll talk about that in a second.
I saw that comment, and I'm very curious who fits that. I don't even know how old. I guess I'll just get into it. That's a good transition we can get. Who fits
the Michael J. Fox mold today?
Who's the modern day Michael J. Fox, and who would fit that type of role? So this is as good as a transition as I'm going to get. Is my choice was Doc Hollywood, which is put out by Warner Archive some years ago. Actually, put out in 2017. So this has been nice.
I have it within reach.
Yes, Dustin planned it.
Don't have it.
Yeah. So this has been on a wish list on Amazon since 2017. I finally bought it recently. So it functions here for the unwatched pile. But this is one of several non Back to the Future Michael J. Fox films that he did during his career. This came out 1991. Yeah, another 1991 movie. What an odd coincidence. And this was, of course, after he had done the 3 Back to the Future films. Its star had never been bigger, I guess, at that time, you could say. And in this movie, he is a young hotshot doctor who wants to move to Beverly Hills and become a plastic surgeon. Because if you want to become a big time plastic surgeon, California and Beverly Hills is the place you want to be, because that's where all the people who want to get plastic surgery are, I guess. And he's got a big interview. He's just finishing up his residency in an emergency room, I believe, in I think it's like the New York area or whatnot. It's a very small scene at the beginning of the movie where it's basically like his last time he's going to be there. And he's gonna take his 1956 vintage Porsche and drive it across country. Don't ask me why, when I'm pretty sure he could afford a plane ticket. And he gets in a car crash. Well, not a car. Yeah, it's a car crash, but it's more comedic. He's driving along a road, and there just happens to be a bunch of cows crossing the road, and he drives off the road, knocks down a fence, runs into some local people. It's a big old comedic scene, but his car is not functionable and needs to be fixed. And he's in a small town, I think, of Grady, South Carolina. Small town.
Close by.
Middle of nowhere.
I've got just to cut you off. I've got to say, I've got a question. So I watched it too, and I was so confused that he's driving from the East Coast to California. Why is he going down to South Carolina?
No idea.
Hey, look, the highway system is interesting. And it depends on which route you could look. I took a road trip to Colorado from North Carolina, and you can either go more north or you can go more south on your way to Colorado. So maybe he was taking the more south route. He was.
It seems like he went
too
far south,
guys.
Yeah,
it's.
I guess throw the geography out the door. I guess.
The gas prices were probably nice and low back then.
Oh yeah, back in 1991, you could fill your car up for like $1 and change. Not $1. You could gallons of gas were like $1 and change back then.
Yeah.
But anywho, he gets in this car crash and he ends up stuck in this small town because the person whose fence he actually knocks over, it's kind of funny, is like the one judge in this town. So the judge sentences him to community service where he has to be their local doctor. Very cutesy type of situation here. He's got to serve so many hours of being their doctor, and then he can once his car is fixed, he can go on his way. But of course, while he becomes the doctor of the small town, he meets the local people. He gets ingratiated with the local customs. He's a fish out of water. I mean, all the local people are kind of these oddball type of characters. It's a very old-fashioned type of town. There is a doctor already there, but he, of course, is somebody who is very old and has very weird remedies for things and whatnot. So it's kind of like new school meets old school in terms of medicine and stuff like that. But he ends up essentially getting involved with a young woman. So there's a romantic subplot as well. It's a very it's a fine movie. It's very fine. It's not. I don't think it's particularly great. I don't think it's particularly bad. It's kind of even keel. To compare it to something that would be more modern, it has the premise of kind of like a Hallmark or Lifetime movie. It really does.
Yeah.
Big time person from a big time city ends up in a small town. Want to be there.
It's just not Christmas time. It's not Christmas time. That's the only problem.
It's not set at a holiday time or anything like that. In terms of other people in the movie,
like Frank Capra or something like that.
Yeah, like Woody Harrelson's in the film. I think Cheers was still on at the time. So of course, Woody Harrelson was doing both television and movies. Julie Warner is the woman that is the actress of the character that he gets in a little bit of a relationship with. It's a fun kind of just fine comedy with the usual beats and things you can predict along the way. But it stars Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, it's a watchable, likable, like Sunday during the day.
Yeah, the movie's like an hour. Was it like an hour and 36 minutes or something like that? Yeah. 104 minutes seems a little long, but that's including credits. But you can, it's a fine, like you said, like a Sunday afternoon matinee type of movie. Michael J. Fox, like I said, is great. He's magnetic on screen. I think if it wasn't him in this role, I don't think we'd be talking about this movie 35 years later.
Chalamet, I don't think so.
Ooh.
I'd say with recent events, he's made himself seem way too douchey to be.
I also don't know if he's
to be likable enough to play this character.
Too serious of an actor.
And he's too serious, yeah.
Michael J. Fox, I think at this time, had mostly done lighter roles. Obviously, Back to the Future. He had done... Was he in Casualties of War? Or was he in something like that? I'm trying to think of
he did a military
I'm trying to think
movie.
of more serious roles that he was in during the 80s that was non Back to the Future. But even then, he, of course, is more known for his lighter roles. Like, he had been on television in Family Ties. That's where he got his start. So what Acres of Movies said about Tom Holland is an interesting kind of fit.
That's not a bad one. That's not a bad pick.
It's not a bad one because it's the right age, because you figure somebody who's just gone through medical school, somebody in their mid to late 20s, has got to be somebody in that type of range. I don't know, for maybe like a Paul Rudd from like 20 years ago, maybe. But even then, I feel like that would have been
we can't go back, Andrew. We're talking.
I guess we can't go back. It's got to be modern.
It's got to be.
I was just thinking of Paul Rudd recently.
That type of film star isn't really existing right now. That likable, young,
charismatic, great screen presence.
He's making movies for everybody. He's not making movies for just like rated R adult movies. He's making movies for that's the type of actor Michael J. Fox was.
Yeah, he's cross-generational.
He's like Tom Hanks. Like he usually he makes a lot of things that everybody can watch. Now, of course, Tom Hanks went into a lot more serious roles, but he's had a lot more of a career than Michael J. Fox is because of his illness. He hasn't been able to continue to act as much as he probably would have. But yeah, you gotta have somebody that. Go ahead, Dustin.
No, I was gonna say this was obviously long before.
I said Dustin.
Dustin. Never mind. There you go.
He was trying to talk and you talked over him.
I always talk over Dustin. I feel bad.
No. I was just gonna say, to your point, I do remember reading an interview with Michael J. Fox where actually it may have even been the documentary on him, where he was talking about how the first symptoms of his Parkinson's actually happened while he was filming this movie.
Oh.
And he just started noticing his hand, like he would have a cramp in his hand or like tremors or something, and he wasn't sure what it was from. So I've remembered that ever since I read it that was connected. But he's great in the film. I really can't think of anyone else that would have been so right for this part at this time.
Yeah, I do think Tom Holland is a pretty good pick if there was one, because he has that youthful. Tom Holland's actually like in his early 30s, I think.
He's older than we think. He just looks so young.
Yeah, he just looks young, so I think that's what works for him. He's got that fresh kind of young youthfulness to him, and he has that ability to be very likable and upbeat and. I think that's about as good as I can think of off the top of my head. But
there's some names I've seen here. Taron Egerton, but I don't know if he's quite. He kind of feels like
a little bit too. Yeah,
Timothy Chalamet, Jack O'Connell, older actor.
Yeah, they're a little bit too old.
Yeah, it's just these are like Tom Holland contemporaries and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually not a bad idea. But this movie is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
It's
a fine movie.
It does feel like a PG movie that is actually very much rated R.
It does. You know why it's rated R? There's random nudity in the movie. It's so.
Yeah, I'm very that scene just comes sort of out of left field.
Yeah, so it just describes me. Michael J. Fox wakes up after like his first night of being told he's going to be the doctor. They set him up in like this nice cabin by a lake. It's very scenic, very nice. He wakes up, walks outside. He's like, "Oh, what have I got myself into?" And this beautiful, gorgeous woman just comes walking out of the lake completely naked. It's just random. It's like,
I bet you know what? Maybe
Michael
J. Fox was like, "Look, I need to change my image from being the family guy to the I got nudity."
I guess there's no swearing in the movie. There's no like gruesome type of medical sequences that happen. It's mostly like low key medical stuff. Like somebody like gets a cut and he's got to sew it up, or like some like low, like small town stuff, people getting sick and whatnot. It's nothing, it's not like watching ER or The Pit on television where we're watching people do like open heart surgery and stuff like that. It's nothing like that at all. This movie is like, it's like a PG movie that got an R rating because of like nudity. That's it.
Yeah.
I was going to say who else is in the movie, but Bridget Fonda is in the movie.
Yeah.
In a small role of kind of someone who wants to escape the small town but never really has the guts to, and that's a nice little theme I think throughout this movie, because the movie has very small town sensibilities and a small town theme in it, and there are characters trying to get out of the small town. If you come from a small town or a small city in real life, you can probably relate to those things of trying to escape, that type of lot in life. But yet again, the movie doesn't really spend the time in exploring it really at all. Basically, everything is from the Michael J. Fox perspective. It's an interesting, when it comes to pairing the movie, I had a little bit of a difficult time because this movie is kind of so plain and rather basic.
I got two movies.
Where am I going to go?
I got two movies for you.
All right. I actually had some in my head, but I went with kind of the safer one, but we'll get there. We'll get
over there.
Let's get to a political thriller.
Speaking of 250, America's 250, let's talk about political satire here, people. Hard-edged political satire with the film Winter Kills, directed by William Reithart. Bless you.
Thank you.
And this came out in 1979. It stars an array of actors, led by Jeff Bridges, John Huston, who jumps in out from behind the camera to act in this one, and an array of others. Anthony Perkins, Dustin's holding up the Kino release. I have the indicator release.
What does your cover look like?
It's like yours, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's probably a reversible. No, it's the same in the inside too. They didn't have another option, I guess. But there's so many character actors that pop up in this thing. Toshiro Fumune shows up in here as a butler for some reason. I don't know why. I was listening to some interviews with this director, and he just like, the background of this movie is like just as interesting as, if not more than, the movie itself. But he just was able to get all these actors to do this movie for some reason. It's crazy. But Winter Kills is essentially kind of somewhat of a placeholder for the JFK assassination. Jeff Bridges plays the brother of a previous president who had been assassinated many years prior, and now at the beginning of the film, there's new evidence that gets brought up that he was assassinated, and that there was literal physical evidence to help prove it. And so basically Jeff Bridges goes down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out this conspiracy. His father, played by John Huston, is this like billionaire, this high level billionaire type that is kind of all wrapped up in it as well. And really this movie, you can't really describe the plot. It's more of like a like shit happens all over. Like he keeps trying to figure out this conspiracy, and then he keeps getting pulled in all different directions. And this movie is really talking about the idea of how, politics works in reality, where you can never figure out what the real truth is because somebody tells you a lie here, somebody tells you, something here, and there's, you get threads from all different places, and that's how they keep us confused. I mean, there's literal lines in the movie that talk about how this is what they do. That, they plan a story in the paper. They show you something. They don't show you something. It's all a game behind the scenes. And at the same time, this movie is trying to subtly make you laugh at it as well. Like it's not like a always like laugh out loud. It's got its moments. Like there's literally a scene where John Huston comes up in a golf cart with two girls on his side and says, "What do you think these girls are doing underneath this? Playing with my nuts?" Which is my favorite line of the movie. It's like I busted out laughing. My wife was like, "What happened?" I'm like, He's playing with. Never mind. You don't know who John Huston is. But yeah, it's kind of an experience. Like first watching it for the first time, I know I missed a lot. I know I didn't always grasp everything that was probably getting thrown at me, but I did respect how much like of kind of like a just sprawling, crazy story this is. Like it goes down so many different pathways, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure I'm not picking up on all the political satire and where the influence is coming from and all the things that are leveled off in here. But it's honestly incredible that the movie is as good as it is for how it was made. Because this movie, as I said before, is so much more interesting behind the scenes too. Like this was produced by essentially criminals. And then it was made over like 3 years. And I got the principal photography started in 1977. It halted production at one point and didn't pick up for another 2 years. And it was like funded the rest of the way by the director himself to get it finished. Like it's nuts. And most of the people didn't even get paid to make this movie. Like it's crazy. I know that you've both seen this movie, right? Yeah. Dustin, I know you just watched it. See if you can add on to what I'm saying here. It's a lot.
Yeah. One thing I love about the Unwatched Pile is that I like this week I got to watch 3 of my unwatched Blu-rays.
Hey, if as a guest, if you're that dedicated to getting ready, you can end up doing what Dustin did. You know, there you go.
Because I've had Doc Hollywood since it came out on Blu-ray in 2017, and I've never watched it. And Winter Kills, I think it came out in like 2019 or something like that. And again, this was my first time watching it. I would say it's sort of like a paranoid thriller from the 70s, sort of like a Parallax View sort of film, or maybe 3 Days of the Condor. But it does, and I really liked it. And like you, though, it's so sort of labyrinthine in its plotting that when it was over, I almost felt like I wanted to watch it again because I knew that I had missed a lot of stuff. Like I didn't fully understand everything.
Like a lot of these type of things, they're very wordy. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of things that you feel like you have to listen for, and if you don't quite get it in the moment, it'll pass you by, and you're like,
it's very so. Yeah, so I saw the movie for the first time as well, and being kind of, how do I say this? It's very inside baseball if you know the story of the JFK assassination. If you're kind of a conspiracy theorist of the JFK assassination, the movie is based on a novel that is inspired by the JFK assassination, but they literally take all the major players around the JFK assassination and just change their names, and then dial up the kind of kooky conspiracy theories through the roof. Oliver Stone must love this movie, but
I would think so. Yeah.
So like the John Huston character is definitely Joe Kennedy, who was the Kennedy father, the patriarch of the family, the one who put all of his children in place for political success. He may or may not have rigged the JFK election. That's a whole thing that people talk about to this day. He was a mover and shaker back in the day. He was actually contributed to the stock market crash in the 1930s, all kinds of stuff. But anywho, John Huston's excellent in this movie. This benign patriarch.
When I was watching this, it made me think about the recent movie few months ago, but when we watched The Stuntman and thinking about the performance from
Peter O'Toole
in that film, like that similar type of like almost kind of over the top powerhouse like performance in that movie.
So you could maybe say that the Jeff Bridges character could be any one of the Kennedy brothers, could be an amalgamation of Bobby and Ted Kennedy trying to figure out what happened to his brother. You've got Eli Wallach is in the movie, and he definitely plays like a Jack Ruby character, this nightclub owner guy who was involved somehow and all this kind of stuff. There's even a Marilyn Monroe type of situation that they just kind of throw into this movie with Elizabeth Taylor playing this role, and she's in the movie for a minute. No dialogue, she's uncredited. If you go to IMDb, she's way at the bottom in the uncredited, and she's just there as like this famous actress that died of a drug overdose and had a relationship with the former president who was dead, and it's like maybe she was part of it too, and it's like they're just throwing every conspiracy theory at the wall, but it makes sense. It's the 70s. Political thrillers were all the rage in the 70s. It was just because you're coming out of Watergate and Nixon and all this like hatred towards the government and not trusting the government, so there's all these political conspiracy theory movies that are just trying to, capitalize on that fear and that anxiety about all of that. I liked the movie actually a lot. As kind of inside baseball it is, I thought it was a pretty tightly wound, like, mystery of a movie, which is interesting, kind of the way everything ends a little anticlimactically. I don't want to give anything away. But Jeff Bridges I thought was really good in the movie. Yeah, he looked great on screen at that time.
Yeah, good ass shot in the
yeah,
movie.
like he's half naked
Yeah.
a good part of the movie. He's got a relationship with this mysterious woman as well. Anthony Perkins is in the movie as one of the most kind of oddball, mysterious characters, where like he lives in like this archive laboratory place and he just knows everything, I guess.
Yeah, apparently a lot of that was like, God, they were talking about like how they shot that place, and it was like some of it was like built like a model, like how they had to shoot a specific way because they didn't really have anything, like they had no money, they had nothing to shoot in.
Yeah, it looks like and they lit it so underlit just to make it look everything like he's living in the shadows, because he's kind of like that type of character who he knows all the dirt about everybody. He knows all the information about everybody. He's maybe pulling strings behind the scenes. He's like some big mysterious like overlord guy who he's like the guy behind the guy behind the guy. Sure. It's very odd the way they kind of utilize his character in the movie, and he's only appears in the movie like 3 times or so. But he's very important, I guess, to the overall plot. I liked the movie. I really liked it. It was a good pick.
I liked it fine. Like I do think that like as a first time watch, there were times where I was like, this is kind of like losing me a little bit a few times. Like I'm like, because this, like I said, it's very wordy, and if you're not really like connecting with what it's talking about, you're like, okay, this is just like I need to look into this more.
Yeah, if you don't know the political connections or the context of what these characters have to represent, or these potential conspiracy theory stories need to connect, like they're talking about like connections with Cuba, and there's even parts where like they slander the FBI and the CIA because of their connection to the possible Kennedy assassination or whatnot. It's all like this inside information that if you don't know it, you'll be like, that's interesting, but I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's some of what's the movie that like you could consider like somewhat dates the movie.
That's also true.
Like there are themes that very much still work for today, but some of the things that connect to the time period, I think just kind of I didn't quite get to it. But I would love to. Thing is I would love to learn more about the movie. So definitely more watches, and delving more into the features to kind of understand some of the things I didn't understand initially.
The tone is very bizarre, like because I found it very fascinating overall, and I did really like it. But other than the one part that you had mentioned about John Huston on the golf course, like that was funny, but there were other parts in it that were so like I wasn't sure if it was even meant to be funny, and I think it was.
I think so,
but I didn't find it, other than that one part, I didn't really find it particularly funny, but I was like, what is this going for? Because it treats itself so seriously, but then, it is a satire at the same time.
I mean, it's a lot of the funny stuff is like just very absurd things. Like John Huston's like getting the blood from like younger people to keep himself young. He's like getting blood transfusions.
Yeah, and he owns like his own wing of the hospital where like you walk in, he's like this giant like rich chamber with like candelabras and stuff, and he's sitting in this giant master like this bed, and he's just getting an IV of young people's blood in him. It's kind of odd. Then there's a scene with Sterling Hayden is in a tank, and Jeff Bridges drives up on his property, and then all these tanks start shooting at him. as he's trying to drive away because they give him like a 30-second countdown.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
he gets thrown through the ringer in this movie. Jeff Bridges does. I mean, it's pretty fun, but I definitely want to revisit it down the road. It's definitely a good one. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It's been sitting on the shelf for a while, but I'm glad I got it. All right, let's revert back around. Let's get back to Dustin. He's going to tell us what he paired with Intensive Care, 1991.
So when I was thinking of a film to pair with Intensive Care, there was only really one option for me. It was the thing that first came to mind, and I was like, well, that might be a little obvious, but I don't know how many people have really seen it or not. And this is another one that I absolutely love, even though it's so completely crazy at the same time. And it is X-Ray.
Oh man, I haven't seen it.
You see it? No, you haven't.
I haven't seen it either. No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now take my word. This is the perfect double feature.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I trust you.
So this one, it's from 1982. It's directed by Boaz Davidson, who right after this, he directed The Last American Virgin.
Okay.
Which I think is one of the better early 80s sort of like teen sex comedies. And so also, yeah, so X-Ray, it's also known as Hospital Massacre and Be My Valentine or Else.
Another holiday?
Yes.
Yes.
This is another holiday slasher. It was actually, even though it came out in 82, it was filmed in 1980, right at the same time as My Bloody Valentine. And so, yeah, so...
this could have been the Volcano Dante's Peak, damn it.
Exactly. It stars Barbie Benton, who at the time, she was a 4-time Playboy cover model. And she was in a relationship with Hugh Hefner for several years in the 70s. And she's actually credited with persuading him to buy the Playboy Mansion in 1974. So yeah, she was a big star at the time in that way, but she was getting into acting. And I have to say that she sort of makes the movie in a lot of ways. Like, I think she has a lot of charisma, and she really only did one other film after this. It was Death Stalker, which was it's
like the one they did the remake for.
Yeah. But she, I feel like she, if she had been given more opportunities, she could have gone on and had a bigger acting career. But I think instead she went into music, and she actually had like a hit album later in the 80s or whatever. Anyway, she plays Susan, who, as a 10-year-old, her male friend was brutally murdered on Valentine's Day by her jealous classmate, who he like looks through the window and sees that she's playing with this other boy, and he basically comes in and strangles the boy and hangs him from a coat rack. And that's the opening scene. And then we switch 19 years later, and she is...
Wait a second. This is kind of like Halloween. A kid kills somebody, and he goes into the future. All right.
Oh, very true. This one is sort of set up to be more of like a whodunit. Mm-hmm. So you don't really know who the killer is until it's revealed at the end. But anyway, so 19 years later, she goes to the hospital to receive routine test results, and it is Valentine's Day again. And I mean, they do a really good job of setting up, basically decorating the hospital, tons of like Valentine's Day decorations and stuff everywhere you look, like even in all of the rooms at the hospital and stuff. I'm like, they really went all out just for Valentine's Day. But anyway, she goes to the hospital just for these routine test results. Her boyfriend literally pulls the car up right outside the front door of the hospital to wait for her. She's just going in for a second. And when I tell you this is the wackiest hospital this side of like a spoof, like Airplane or like The Naked Gun or something like that, one thing after the next at this hospital, like it is just wild. So, and if you keep in mind, on the interview on the Blu-ray, the director talks about, he tells a story of someone coming up to him and just raving about how funny X-Ray was. And he did not have any intention whatsoever of this being a funny movie. He was making a serious horror film.
And see, I don't know if that would upset me or not. I think it probably would if somebody told me that a movie I really took seriously was funny. But then if they like it,
yeah.
like,
I mean, he seemed more amused by it than anything. Yeah. But yeah, to give you an idea of the tone, so when Susan first gets there and she takes the elevator up to see her doctor to get these results, she's in the elevator. She sees a man slumped over beside her, and this red liquid drips onto her high heel shoes. And you think, is it blood? Was he killed? But no, he has a sloppy Joe in his hand, and it's dripping on her shoe.
Happens. They're not called sloppy Joes for nothing.
And then, like, the floor above her. So then she accidentally hits the wrong button on the elevator and goes up to the floor above it, which is being fumigated. And it's just like three guys, these three fumigators in these full like face masks are standing there, and they're like, you're not supposed to be here, get off this floor. But meanwhile, like, all of these patients are, when we go back up there later in the movie, all these patients seem to just be wandering around these toxic holes, and one doctor is called up there by the killer and she thinks that it's another doctor, and there's no red flags at all as she's just creeping around these smoky gassy floors. It's just wild. Everybody at this hospital, the doctors, the nurses, the patients, they're all just creepy, sort of lecherous, weird types of people that you just would cross the street to avoid. And so anyway, to make a long story short, she gets there, she gets the results, but, and again, this isn't giving anything away because you find out right at the beginning, the killer has switched her X-ray results with the results that show that she's like basically on death's door. Mm-hmm. And these doctors, when they see them, are like, oh my God, like, you can't leave. And they basically
funny, hilarious.
They basically trap her in this hospital. No matter what it's almost like a nightmare, because no matter how much she tries to leave this hospital, she cannot leave it. And meanwhile, yeah, the killer is there. He's dressed in like scrubs with like the doctor surgical mask on and everything. So you only see his eyes. He's killing like the other people in the hospital all around her. It keeps switching. It's hilarious. It keeps switching to her boyfriend waiting for her outside. By this time, it was like the middle of the day.
It's like Die Hard when the guy's out in the limousine just waiting on fucking John McClane to come out. Just like, look, you go back, he's like in there like fucking playing a card game by himself. He's like,
because I mean, she literally was supposed to run in and run out. It was the middle of the day. Now it is pitch dark. It's like the middle of the night. And he's still
where is she?
Like, looking at his watch. Like, where is she?
Yeah, I know. This is before cell phones. You couldn't like call her or anything. I mean, you could page her maybe at the time, but still. Yeah, crazy. So come to find out, I actually have seen this movie because I probably talked about it on Chasing Labels.
Yeah,
like 4 years ago when that Blu-ray came out.
But how does he remember it? Probably.
As Dustin was talking about, I remember the atmosphere of the hospital being like just pure chaos and just the worst hospital you've ever seen. Like, it's like the worst run hospital. Like, it looks so creepy and the lights are like not working properly. And like you said, when she gets off on that floor, they're in the hazmat suits and it's just awful. Now, I spent a lot of time in the hospital in the early 90s and they were creepy, but I can imagine what it was like a decade earlier with a serial killer on the loose. Must have been even worse. I mean, and now that this is Dustin's parent, like, there's a lot of other like movies that are in hospitals. And those are always kind of creepy, you know, the psychiatric hospitals and stuff like that. But I always remember Halloween 2, the first Halloween 2 is set entirely in a hospital and picks up right after the end of the first Halloween. I mean, we were just talking about Halloween. You might as well connect it once again. But like that whole movie is just Michael Myers in a hospital just killing people. Like he's like killing, I think, nurses and doctors and just looking for looking for Jamie Lee Curtis's character the whole time. Kind of reminds me similar to this movie because because this character is obsessed with this person. Michael Myers is obsessed with the Jamie Lee Curtis character in that movie. But I think Halloween 2 is much better movie than this one.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, I do remember this movie. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, it has very similar vibes to Halloween 2. And yeah, it seems like most of the movie's set like overnight, and it's very, I mean, there's other people in the hospital, but then it becomes very deserted, but very very conveniently at certain times. And but yeah, I've always really enjoyed this. Since the first time I saw it. It was originally released from Scream Factory, maybe 2015 or somewhere around in there. And this is the Vinegar Syndrome release that they put out. It had some additional features on it, and it's a 4K. And I mean, who would have ever imagined that X-Ray would get a 4K release? It looks gorgeous.
Only Vinegar Syndrome would do that.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's entertainingly just, it's bad, but in a so good way. Like, it really is fun. And you can tell that even though you would think like the director had to know this was supposed to be comedic, but apparently not. And the music score, it's legitimately great. There's all this sort of like creepy chanting. It's almost like something out of The Omen or something. And the kill sequences are very effectively done. And and it does follow that sort of formula of Halloween 2, and it does finally come down, of course, to the killer and the main character. And I really enjoy it. And this was the movie, as I was watching Intensive Care, that it kept reminding me of. So I had to pick it.
Only you, Dustin. Only you. That's what makes you unique. That's why you're always going to be allowed to come on here, because you always have interesting picks. Awesome. Well, a couple medical dramas there for you. Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Doc Hollywood's pairing.
Yes.
Now, should I guess first?
If you want to, sure.
Okay. Well, no. This one I know is not your pick, but I'm going to say it. Cars.
The Pixar
small
movie?
Town. Yeah. Small Town.
That is the movie. When I was watching this, I was like, this is literally Cars.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Didn't even register in my mind.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now the other one,
okay.
This is my more legit pick. I'll let you say your pick before I say it.
Okay. So my pick, like I said, I was having a little difficult time because I wanted to. I needed something where it was a fish out of water, somebody going from one area to another, and then having to adjust their life. So I went with the classic Frank Capra movie, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town.
Never mind.
What was your guess?
Local Hero.
Oh, that came up when I was doing my research a lot.
Yeah.
I almost picked that. You know what I almost picked? This would have been a little bit of an oddball pick, but I could have made it work. Was a Witness. The Peter Weir movie, Witness.
What I was thinking of was, and I don't know if either of you have seen it, and it really got not very positive reviews when it came out, but I've been a big fan of it. Did you hear about The Morgans?
Oh, I have not seen that.
It's from 2009. It had Hugh Grant and Sarah Jessica Parker in it, and they played a couple who witness a murder and have to go on the witness protection program, and they're relocated to this nowhere town and it's very much like the town in Doc Hollywood.
I'm trying to think of there's another movie similar to that. It's not a witness protection thing, but is it the movie is it Kirstie Alley and Tim Allen?
For Richer or Poorer.
Yeah, for Richer or Poorer. Yeah. I was thinking maybe like The Out of Towners as well, but that's more of just like a comedy of just bad situations over and over again. But yeah, I was thinking of that. But then I like I said, I was thinking about Witness because this idea of Harrison Ford's character is a big city cop. He has to go to Amish country to protect this woman and her son. There's a romantic subplot in there.
I thought Local Hero because you're a Criterion guy.
Yeah,
it's Criterion.
I thought about that too.
It's wacky people in a small town.
Very much.
Yeah.
Ironically, Twin Peaks would have worked. It's a TV show.
Yeah.
But Fire Walk with Me, I wouldn't have worked. as well. But Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, starring Gary Cooper and Jean Arthur. This is a Frank Capra classic. When did this come out? Somewhere in the 1930s, 1936. And this movie is uh, uh, you've seen the plot before if you've seen the Adam Sandler remake. Coincidentally, I have here next to me, Mr. Deeds.
There's also Kool-Aid, a Kool-Aid, drink thing too.
Yeah.
Water cooler
A Kool-Aid fountain, or however you want to call it.
There's not.
There is not one in this, though, but there are similarities to this and the remake that are a lot closer than I thought. Specifically, both the title characters, or both the characters, are called Longfellow Deeds. They're both from, I think, Mandrake Falls, Vermont. They're both like these small town, idealistic, charming. Although this one is not as charming as Adam Sandler was. This guy's kind of an asshole. Sometimes, not, but he's got this small town sense that rubs people the wrong way because he's very stubborn in that sense. And so his uncle that he's never met, I believe it's his mother's uncle. So he's kind of a distant relative, passes away, gets in a car accident in England or in Europe, dies, and he basically inherits $20 million, which back in the 1930s is a lot of money. Even today, it's a lot of money as well. Millions of dollars are millions of dollars. So the lawyers come and get him in Mandrake Falls, and we're introduced to him. He runs like a small town business. He also writes poetry for greeting cards as well. And he also plays the tuba. He's got a passion for playing the tuba. He also has a passion for fire trucks and stuff like that. So they bring him to the big city. And of course, all the headlines is, oh, who is this Longfellow Deeds who's now inheriting all of this money from this big, rich millionaire guy? And Jean Arthur's character plays the role from the remake that Winona Ryder played, who's this reporter who's going to go undercover and ingratiate herself with him and basically trick him in order to write articles to further her career and whatnot. You know the story if you've seen the remake. And meanwhile, the Gary Cooper character is also trying to figure out what to do with all of this money. Like, people come to him with business ideas. People come to him to fund the opera. People come to him to create jobs or donate money and stuff like that. And he's trying to legitimately figure out hey, how does this all work? So he's very much a fish out of water. It's kind of the reverse of Doc Hollywood, where you have the big city guy going to the small town. In this, you've got the small town guy going to the big city. And the extra caveat is he's got all of this money and wealth to deal with. I mean, there's even one part of the movie where his manservant's trying to help him put on his clothes, and he's like, never do that ever. Never help me. I don't need help. That's kind of silly and whatnot. And then he's also bucking up against all of the other people who run the businesses. He's bucking up against, the people who deal with the money. And he's doing it in a very, like I said, stubborn way that, wrinkles a lot of feathers. There's another family member that wants some money as well. They throw in some complications to the situation. Anywho, at some point in this movie, they try to get his money. He's got to prove his worth and all this kind of stuff. It's a classic, and it's got a lot of hallmark Frank Capra type of themes in it. This social idealism that the Gary Cooper character has, very similar to the idealism that Jimmy Stewart would have in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, but that has more of a political idealism to it. It's interesting how Frank Capra was, trying to point out the altruism and point out the idealism within society and within politics in the 1930s, or the lack thereof. And it's something that I think that's very much translated to contemporary times, probably even more so. But it's a very charming movie. It's a little long movie. It's an hour and 55 minutes. I didn't think it was that long, especially for a 1936 film. Those movies are typically, an hour and a half at most.
He was the Christopher Nolan of his time.
I guess you could say, but I don't remember his other movies being quite this long. But Frank Capra in the 30s made some delightfully fantastic movies. This release here is specifically in the Frank Capra collection that was put out by Sony a couple of years ago. That big mamma jamma right there. I think that's the only way you can get the 4K. I don't think they've released it separately yet, but there is a Blu-ray that also looks fantastic. This here has the 4K disc and the Blu-ray disc, and I think it's the same special features on the Blu-ray disc that was on the old one. And I think there's a new commentary on the 4K disc as well, but it looks fantastic. Sumptuous black and white from the 1930s. Yeah, just a really great movie. It's been a few years since I've seen it, so I didn't realize how much more to this movie there was. But yeah, Frank Capra, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, this movie here. Steven, what's your favorite movie of his?
It Happened One Night.
It Happened One Night. Of course, he did It's a Wonderful Life. You Can't Take It With You was another one that I think was really good. Lost Horizons, another great film he did in the 30s. Just a big Frank Capra enthusiast here. But if you don't want to watch, a 1930s black and white film, you can always watch Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler and Winona Ryder, which came out, 2002. I saw this movie in the theater, and so it's considered vintage now.
Sneaky, sir.
Yeah. Way more of a comedy than this. This has comedic moments, but it's a more of a serious, poignant, very direct thematic movie. This more so a comedy, but still having somewhat of a Frank Capra type of themes within it. But yeah, that's my pairing with Doc Hollywood.
Awesome. Lovely. And you could do a triple feature with the remake, as you said. You just triple feature it, just end with some Adam Sandler.
Now we come to you, Steven.
Oh, I'm not going to make this very hard on you guys.
Okay.
We're going to go JFK.
On the nose, I see.
Very on the nose. Look, I have this damn 4K set that I got. It gives me a reason to rewatch the movie in this new set that I haven't watched yet. Probably my favorite Oliver Stone film. It's between this or I really do like Born on the 4th of July because that's like Tom Cruise's best acting role, I think. It's between that or Tropic Thunder. No, I'm just kidding. But JFK, directed by Oliver Stone, starring another movie of a sprawling cast. Of course, led by Kevin Costner. And this is, of course, the kind of the reenactment / kind of conspiracy delve into the JFK assassination from the point of view of kind of the lead, Kevin Costner's lead character, who's, going down all the rabbit holes. But this is, of course, set in a real life event directly and not kind of a fictionalized version. And, we don't have to sit here and tell you about what happened with JFK. It's something that most people are kind of aware of. But this movie, Oliver Stone takes a very kind of almost documentary style approach to it in a lot of ways. There's a lot of footage that's used. There's a lot of things that he shoots to make look like the original footage. That's, I think, that one of the most impressive things about the movie is the editing. The editing and the all different types of filmmaking styles that get woven together to make such a great seamless movie. And of course the performances, there's so many great performances in here. John Candy's like pop-up scene is kind of a highlight that everybody likes to talk about. Walter Matthau shows up for a second, like just people like that, just popping in to do their best work for a subject matter, I think, that still interests people today. And yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. It's just kind of it's an easy pairing with Winter's Chill because it inspired that movie. The events of this movie, which this movie came a little later. This movie came out in what, 91 or 92? Yeah, another 91 movie. A lot of 91
movie. What an odd coincidence.
I don't know what happened. But it works. It's just kind of the easy pick, but it's also like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you watch JFK first and then like go watch Winter's Chill afterwards? That kind of like is a satire on what happened in JFK. So like, yeah, I mean, anybody want to say anything about JFK before we?
I think it's incredible. It's one of my favorite Oliver Stone films. I think it does. It's one of the best films I've seen where it's sort of portraying somebody the closer or the more that you watch the Zapruder film, you become so obsessed with like seeing different things within it.
Yeah.
and sort of the obsession that comes with that, and trying to figure out something that, or solve a mystery that, and a crime that, I guess to this day, like, it still hasn't fully been.
Yeah, I mean, I almost picked Zodiac, but I think I picked Zodiac is something I already used, I think, in another episode, so I try to stay away from it. But Zodiac, even though it's not necessarily the same thing, it has that similar kind of vibe of like an investigation that is obsessive, that eventually never gets really technically answered at the end, you know. But
incredible cast, like you said. I remember
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, he's tons of people in this movie. Yeah, I mean, Andrew, any thoughts on?
Oliver Stone was on such a run in the 80s into the early 90s that this is very
Platoon,
much a pinnacle of that. Platoon, Born on the 4th of July.
The Hand.
I like The Doors.
Remember The Hand?
Oh, that was
that's like his first one of his first movies.
Yeah, isn't it Idle Hands?
No. That's the 90s movie. He did a movie called The Hand.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It had Michael Caine in it. It was. I think it was his first film. It was a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's all coming back to me. I like The Doors movie. Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison.
I like Val Kilmer in that movie.
Well,
The movie's okay. Yeah.
It's called The Doors, but it's basically a Jim Morrison biopic. I mean,
it's a Jim Morrison trip fest. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even
Killers after that.
Yeah, and then even he did the movie Nixon with Anthony Hopkins as Nixon, which I don't think gets a lot of love.
Yeah,
I think it's similar. Maybe trying to capitalize similarly onto like the fervor from JFK, but JFK is such a more interesting, enigmatic type of character because how short his presidency was and how young he died, the assassination, the conspiracy theory behind it. Nixon had got to do like his whole presidency and all that kind of stuff, but it's still an investigation inside of a political figure.
And even to today, he's still like doing like documentary stuff on
he's doing more documentary stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting how like the whole JFK thing is still being debated, discussed, talked about forever. I mean, I recently on Chasing Labels, not to plug Chasing Labels once again, we talked about Marilyn Monroe because it was her 100th birthday this past month on June 1st, and the Misfits, which was her last movie, just got a big old collector's edition re-release from Imprint, and we talked a little bit about Marilyn Monroe and how much people still talk about her. She died so many years ago, and most of it is because around of her, her iconic image and all that kind of stuff, her connection with Kennedy and all this kinds of stuff as well. So it's interesting kind of how they're two intertwined, enigmatic type of characters that are still discussed to this day. But yeah, JFK is still really good. Wasn't there a couple of cuts of that movie as well? Oliver Stone loves to recut his movies.
Yeah, there's a director's cut that's on this Shout Factor or Shout Select edition.
Yeah, because he did. I mean, we talked about this a bunch of times. Isn't there three or four cuts of Alexander? I can't remember. There's the theatrical.
We don't need to talk about. Let's not get into Alexander.
Alexander Revisited, and then Alexander the Final Cut, and then I think he just did
between him and Ridley Scott. They like to just fucking recut everything. It's like,
but Ridley Scott makes his movies better. I just feel like Oliver Stone's just messing with it just because he's indifferent about things. Seems like that type of person.
Yeah.
But yeah, good pairing. Yeah. Good pairing.
Usually I stretch myself, but this time I was like, I'll go with the obvious one. JFK just has to be the match with this one. But that is it for this installment of the Unwatched Pile. Once again, Dustin Putman, Dusty, as we call him on here. Thank you for coming on. Sorry, just the grandmother.
Thank you so much. And yeah, if you're ever looking for somebody to guest, I love doing this.
I will always reach out to you for sure. You're always one of my go-to fill-ins, or of course regulars anyway, because we like to have you on. But thanks again. Thanks for anybody that's been listening, watching live. And if you haven't watched live, you should always join us in the chat. We'll get you in here. If you want to hear us on playback, go to the Apple Podcast, subscribe there, or Chasing Labels, where you can find all the other stuff that we do. Thanks, guys. And what are you still doing here? Come on. You're supposed to be watching movies. That's what we're all about. Get out of here. Good night.